This is not good, you know. Give us a bad reputation here.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order for Thursday, April 18th, the Board of Selectmen meeting at 7:02. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Are there any additions to tonight's agenda? I'd like to add an agenda item. We'll call it 10E. It's approval of administrative services agreement. And that's just kind of housekeeping on what we should have done a couple meetings ago for ICMA. So, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Annie Hoffman's not here today. On to item number 5. I move to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 4th, 2019. Is there a second? All right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there any communications? I don't have any communications.
Nope.
Okay. Public participation. Elizabeth, do you have something to say?
Yes. Okay. So the mill thing, how like there's like everything there is contaminated, and so you guys like I don't know who, but like just want to move it from like one place to another, and I kind of feel like it's a bad idea because it's still all contaminated, and just moving it one place to another isn't really gonna change it, I guess. And like the ground and the water, it keeps seeping in. And even though like moving it will decrease it, I feel like it's still going and it's still going under, and it's just I feel like it's all just bad, just all contaminated.
Well, are you going to stick around for a while?
I think so.
Okay, because under the unfinished business, so that really, very soon, we're going to talk about the Broadbrook Mill, and that's what you're talking about. And I do have some information about that, and basically, other people agree with you, so if things are changing.
Excuse me, Bob, may I have her name, please?
Yes,
And address?
Elizabeth,
Carla Piana.
Spelled just like it sounds.
Want to give me a shot at spelling it?
Yep. PARLAPIANO.
and where do you live?
123 Main Street.
Can I ask a question about, so I appreciate your willingness to stand up and share your thoughts at a public forum. There's been a lot of effort over the last few years to clean that site up some way or another. If we get it to a point where it is clean, whether that be to store the contaminated soils or to remove them entirely off the site, what would you like to see happen there?
I think something that would be nice there is like a public place for everybody, because I feel like we have the schools that people go to, and I feel like just like a spot where people can go to to just brighten up their neighborhood.
Thank you.
Let me also say that we're in agreement with you and have been from the very start of this thing. So you'll see tonight with Mr. Magan what he says about where our progress is.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, is there more public participation? Yes, Paul.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street. Rhetorical question. I'm just interested in
Okay.
It's not that funny. What we're doing about the property we're stuck with on Fulham Road, I thought we were gonna unload these properties for $1. Are we doing anything about it?
Can you answer that rhetorical question?
If you choose,
Yeah, we are, and it should be sold in the next few days for $1. We had,
one of it's sold.
yeah, had a delay because the title wasn't correct. When we foreclosed on it, I forgot pieces of the land, and it was, had to, you went to court. You can imagine how quickly those courts work. Okay, further public participation.
I got one more.
Okay.
So, as an aside, Elizabeth is here tonight because she came to the Broadbrook Library on Wednesday, and I convinced her it'd be a good idea to come here and get involved with public participation, and it worked, and I'm impressed.
That's great.
It is great, and let me say that I didn't get involved in civic affairs until a few years ago, and I wish when I was your age, I really got involved and understood what it was about, so. Okay, further public participation. All right, moving on to boards and commissions. Now, last meeting, we did appoint Mary Morgan, but we forgot to provide her for have an expiring date. So apparently she would have been on the committee forever, so we'll reappoint her. So I move to appoint Mary Morgan as an alternate member of the Veterans Commission for a term expiring February 1st, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the Broadbrook Mill discussion. And what I'm going to do is read a letter from the selectman who's not here, Andy Hoffman. And this letter is dated April 14th. And it's the topic is a telephone call to Martin DeRamo. And Martin DeRamo is the Director of Public Relations for UTC. So he's kind of a high-up person at UTC, which is United Technologies, that in a sense owns that place. And actually, I guess Collins Aerospace has been acquired by UTC, so now Collins Aerospace owns the Broadbrook Mill site. So he says, this note covers the content of a phone call about the progress that has been made recently in reference to the Broadbrook Mill site remediation and mill restoration. The following points were covered. Gail Baker, president of Collins Aerospace Windsor site, has agreed to fund the removal of the consolidation pile and clean Building 11 once a developer has been found. Collins wants to give away the site. Collins has placed a commercial real estate company on contract to seek a developer. The company is preparing plans to demolish, to obtain a demolition permit to remove the powerhouse and garages. Collins has obtained a list of potential brownfield development companies for the from the Connecticut DCD. Martin was a little disappointed that the list contained only 4 names, not 10 that DECD had previously stated. Collins is looking into brownfield fund mill remediation. The undersigned offered to help based on information supplied by Representative Davis. Martin stated that the town may be able to help after a plan is developed. He thought that working group meetings maybe start in May. Martin was upbeat. He felt that real progress was made in the last week. He's anxious to get working level group meetings started. Additionally, he stated that the acquisition of commercial real estate companies with contracts in historical restoration field is a major step. He said that indicates the company's good faith. It costs a lot of money. And so that's basically the status, and it really has changed. So they're going to say they're going to take the volatile chemicals out of there and not put it in what do they call it? Consolidation area. And they're also going to clean up the Broadbrook Mill and take down a few of the older buildings we don't want. So they're ready to do their part. So they're looking for, they need a developer before they can start that.
That's perfect news.
Yeah. Any questions about that? Any discussion? All right, moving on. Next topic is the charter revision. And just a reminder that there's going to be next Monday, April 22nd, there's going to be a public hearing here on the charter. So people who want to give their input to this Charter Revision Commission certainly should come.
Is there, what are they hearing? Is there a document that outlines the changes or anything?
Yeah, there is a document, and there's a document on the website now. If you go to Charter Revision Commission, the document's there. The purpose is to get input, but I think what's the general agenda for the meeting will be, they'll give a presentation of what they've what they've done so far, and then they'll open it up to the public. They're doing this, and then they'll go back and think about it and change things, and then the next step will be to present to us their findings. I guess they'll do that in May, and then we'll have to make a decision on where they should go. But so this is a step before they turn it into us. They want to get public input before they do that.
So the document is, my understanding, is in a draft form.
Yes.
And that is not finalized.
Not
by
at
any
all.
means. It's just for review discussion on Monday.
Is
that correct?
That's correct. And what's said in that document shouldn't be taken as what's going to happen. It's what they'd call a straw man. It's something you put up and say, hey, this is what we're thinking about, and then they're looking for people to make suggestions, and they'll make changes to it. So it's not the final thing. Yeah.
There should be a copy in the town clerk's office.
That's right.
So anybody who wants to see it, read it over, get a copy in there, they can go to the town clerk's office.
Absolutely. I should have mentioned that.
Bob, will that be at 7 o'clock?
The public hearing will be at 7:30.
7:30.
But they're going to have just like we do when we have a town meeting. We have it at 7:30, but we usually start our meeting at 7 and then recess. I think the Charter Revision will do the same thing.
I'm sorry, you said that'd be at 7:30?
Yes. Okay. Casino. Don't have too much to report. I haven't been down there. People tell me that they're taking down houses now.
Tearing them down.
Yeah. Well, good. So, but progress is still going slowly. When they start stabilizing the bank, then I'll...
I see the money wheel going, I'll know they're in business.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Next agenda item is the Clean Up East Windsor. On this Saturday, there's a number of groups of people that are going to go around town and clean up certain areas of the town. This cleanup was organized by Erica Giroux and Mike Yost, and it's organized on Facebook, and they came and spoke to us. So this is a good thing. If you want, put up some mission statements they left, and if you want to go online, you can contact them on Facebook. So I'm going to actually I'm in a group that's going to clean up on parts of Newbury and parts of Winkler. So if in the rain, it depends on weather. Might do it on Monday. Okay.
So is the town Public Works going to pick up that stuff?
Well, I talked to Lenny about that, and and I haven't talked to, it depends. If Lenny can pick it up Monday, he'd be happy to do it. We have to tell him where the bags are.
Yeah.
But we might pick it up Saturday, the bags. And if that is the case, then either maybe Steve will help, and but that depends on the situation. We have some other people with trucks, and then we'll take it to USA Hauling, and
Okay,
they'll take the trash.
okay.
So Bob, why can't we get our Public Works Department to come in on Saturday and pick these bags up?
Costs money, basically.
I don't care.
Well,
I don't care. It's about cleaning up East Windsor.
I know.
The town is a dump. So, let's pay a little money here and get the town cleaned up.
Well,
All you need is 2 men and a small dump truck.
I hear what you're
And they
saying.
drive along and they throw the bags in the back.
I wish I could do it, and what I would...
I'll tell you what, you tell Lenny to go ahead and do it and I'll pay the payroll for the day. How's that?
That could work.
I'll do that.
All right.
I'll take care of it.
I'm gonna be on the truck.
Go ahead, Charlie, be on the truck.
We need a supervisor, Charlie, so...
I'll take care of it. Have
All right.
you guys come in with a little ton dump truck on a Saturday and pick up all the bags.
All right, we got a deal. And the reason I was hesitating is, we just went through a budget process, and they give all the departments just no extra money. This town is very,
I just told you the deal.
I know, and I'm taking
It's
it.
about cleaning up the town.
And I'm whining
It's not a
that
lot of money.
the first selectman doesn't have enough budget to do that, so I can't get
Okay,
the
who's
money.
gonna pay?
I'll
All
tell you
right.
what, I'm gonna call Lenny tomorrow.
All right.
So,
Yeah, and
all right?
Fair enough.
Saturday is supposed to be awful rainy.
I know,
It'll be
so
a horrible day.
you and I will have to stay in contact too.
All right, good enough.
All right. Now, the next thing. Okay, and I thought that Terry Hahn was coming tonight, but apparently she's not, so. But I'll tell you a little about the pictures anyway. And maybe she'll come next meeting. But she has been working on a warehouse point study, and this is what she's produced so far. So just give me a few minutes, I'll read now. But she's worked very hard, and she's gone into a lot of the flooding and, let's see. Yeah, I'll just go up there and play with the pictures a little bit.
Is there a summary to that?
I was gonna say, is that whole book right there, that's supposed to be the,
That's not, then after that, I mean, with the book, but she's also going to have a public meeting in probably May, hoping afterwards, warehouse point, and she'll go through all this stuff and give you a summary. But
This is thicker than Mueller's report.
that's bigger than the Bible.
Hey, Charlie, that's your
God.
report.
yeah, well, anyway, and what she's done is, this is the train station, and these are distances from the train station, and I think it's for funding. I think within a mile radius of the train station, and it's, as the crow flies, there's funds available. So we're definitely within the impact area of the train station. Then here she marked the casino. When I first saw that, I just couldn't help but think that maybe that was the impact point of the bomb, because I remember. It isn't. It's a good thing. And then here are the highway points, and so, and then this is to Hartford. It's really, I'm kind of working on an economic development website, so something like that might be useful. We'll see it on the website. And the other thing, which is kind of neat, this is a diagram of the flooding of the Connecticut River. And the green is a 100-year flood. So a lot of our area can get flooded, and she'll tell you in more detail. But I also thought it was interesting, the purple here is a 500-year flood. So this happened, I guess, about 38 or 36 when most of Warehouse Point was underwater. So that's
So we're good for like another 420 years, right?
I would say maybe yes, maybe no.
You gonna be around then to see it?
Not likely, no.
And then if
We
you
used
look,
track already.
what's really cool is if you look at the numbers, every piece of property in Warehouse Point is numbered. And we have a database now that we're building, and it tells about each piece of property, tells who owns it, and a lot of details on the property. So when she gets through this study, we'll know Warehouse Point inside out, basically.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the next agenda item is approval of a resolution adopting the Capital Region Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan update for 2019 to 2024. And what I'm going to do is just read the resolution, and I think it's probably in your packet, I would imagine. And if you have any questions, we can talk about it. But I think it's a pretty self-explanatory resolution. And it basically says, certification of adoption of Town of East Windsor Board of Selectmen. Whereas the Town of East Windsor has historically experienced severe damage from natural hazards and continues to be vulnerable to the effects of those natural hazards profiled in the plan. This is a plan that was made by CROG and in conjunction with FEMA, and this will provide funds for flooding. Well, flooding, I'll read it now. In the plan, e.g. flooding, high winds, thunderstorms, winter storms, earthquakes, droughts, dam failures, and wildfires, resulting in loss of property and life, economic hardship, and the threats to the public health and safety. Whereas East Windsor Board of Selectmen approved the previous plan adopted in 2014. And this plan isn't just for East Windsor, it's for 38 regional towns around Hartford. It says the plan, whereas the Town of East Windsor and the Capital Region of Governments developed and received conditional approval from the FEMA and for the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan update under the requirements of a certain act. And whereas public and committee meetings were held and public input sought in 2017-2018 regarding the development and review of the Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan update 2019 to 2024. Whereas the plan specifically addresses hazard mitigation strategies and planned maintenance procedures for the Town of East Windsor. Whereas the plan recommends several hazard mitigation action projects that will provide mitigation for the natural hazards impact the Town of East Windsor with the effect of protecting people, property, loss associated with those hazards. Whereas the adoption of the plan will make the Town of East Windsor eligible for funding to alleviate the impacts of future hazards. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen, the plan is hereby adopted as the official plan for the Town of East Windsor. The respective officials identified in mitigation strategy of the plan are hereby directed to pursue implementation of the recommended actions assigned to them, future revisions and planned maintenance required by that Act 44 CFR 201.6 and FEMA are hereby adopted as part of the resolution for a period of 5 years from the date of this resolution. An annual report on the progress of the implementation elements of the plan shall be presented to the Board of Selectmen. And it says adopted this day and so forth. So, I'll move to approve the resolution adopting the Capital Region National Hazard Mitigation Plan updated 2019 to 2024 as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Jason?
Do we know what happenings that we've gone through, we would be covered for under this FEMA reimbursement?
This
Is this retrospective or is this prospective?
is prospective, it doesn't, and if a natural
No.
hazard occurs,
It is retrospective,
okay,
because, and that was my next question. And I didn't, that wasn't a gotcha moment, I just,
no, I
Read the word.
didn't understand what you said.
so, have we put in for FEMA reimbursement for things that have happened that this resolution allows us access to?
Well, I can answer that.
Okay,
I
all right then.
It's from
The
2014.
last time I think we used FEMA was when we had that October snowstorm, and it took down all the trees in all the towns.
That was 11.
And we had all these companies come in, but Botticell and Herbie did all our
Yep. I
debris
remember that.
removal around here, where a lot of the towns just hired people who do natural disaster cleanup come in, you know? And we used, I think that was the last time we've used them for anything.
So, has there been any type of FEMA-related disaster that, since 2014, which is what this resolution covers, that we're seeking reimbursement for?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, last question then.
The answer is yes, Bob.
Okay.
What was it?
WPCA has gotten 2 FEMA grants because of problems. The records are down at that office.
Since 14?
Yes.
Okay. Then my last question then will probably be to you and not to Bob. Number 2 says the respective officials identified in the mitigation strategy of the plan are hereby directed to pursue implementation of the recommended actions assigned to them. What are those recommended actions that are assigned to the town of East Windsor?
I do not know.
Do we know, so as a follow-up to my very last question, do we know if the full costs of whatever those actions may be are reimbursable through FEMA, or is this, are we going to be on the hook beyond what we would get back?
I don't have that answer either, but the
But-
records are available.
Let me say this, that there's a person you can call at CROG, and his name's David Murphy, and I called him up today, and he will come out and give a lecture and answer all those questions. If you want to postpone the approval of this till the next meeting, we can do that and have him come.
I don't want to postpone it, because if there's an opportunity of getting money back from the feds, well, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, no,
I would
we-
like to have an understanding of what we're obligating ourselves to. What I'd like to do is approve this tonight, but also have him come to the next meeting and explain
All right.
what those obligations may be.
Okay.
When does this take effect?
This
Today.
well, it would take effect today, but not for us. I think it's the whole 38 towns have to either be in or out. And so they have a year to get included.
Okay.
And so we don't have to do it tonight. So just, this memo came email April 5th. And so,
Bob,
yes.
I mean, this stuff here, this is gonna cover flooding and things of that nature.
Right, everything in the hazard mitigation plan.
I kind of believe that with the rains we're getting and the rise of that river, we better not postpone this tonight. We should
Okay.
get involved with this right now, get our names on this paper, and let's get this done.
Yeah, I
Because
think
the
it's-
river's rising.
I think it's kind of
Johnny Cash
perfunctory.
song,
I
you
think
know,
it's,
The river's rising,
we don't want to really,
all right, we better
Opt
do
out of
this,
this.
better do this.
and interestingly enough, our planning and zoning, or planning and department head, Ruben, went to a conference, and one of the things they were discussing is the rising of the Connecticut River. It's actually rising, and so we'll probably have more storms. So you're right that this is going to be a good
We
thing.
should okay this tonight,
Okay, then
to
I
cover
don't.
everybody's butt, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that, and probably what, I don't know for sure, but that water pollution control, probably the river rose up to where the inlet's there and pushed it back or something, I don't know, but, it's
Is that
usually
correct,
water.
Paul?
No, that wasn't our problem, but it was,
Could it happen?
but other things did happen, and we got FEMA grants because of this. Also, point out that on Tuesday, I was up at a client site in Hadley. At that point, in Hadley, the Kinnickinnick River was 14 feet above normal. It's still rising.
Well, it's not far from getting up to Water Street right now,
Exactly.
and I see it
No,
every
but all
day.
that's coming down, so,
Yeah,
and more rain, and a lot more.
There's a lot more coming on Saturday. We should approve this tonight.
All right.
I agree.
Further discussion?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next thing on the agenda is the beautification committee. And I'm going to announce tonight that we're going to start the beautification committee. So I put some forms out there up on the table. If anybody wants to be on the beautification committee, fill out a form. We can have up to 9 on the committee. I'm going to put it on the website. I'm going to notify Bob Leach right now. So we'll tell the head of the chairman of the Republican Town Committee. Democratic Town Committee will know later on, probably Monday. And what really prompted me to do this, I think now that we have this cleanup committee, I think from some of the volunteers that joined the cleanup committee or group, and they're really not affiliated with the town at all, I think we get a couple of members. And I'm sure we can get a couple of members from the garden club. That's a good core to start with. And if other people want to join and help beautify East Windsor, that's a good thing. So I think we're going to start the committee.
Yeah, that's great. I had 2 people when they saw it, when we had the discussion of it to start with, going back, called me and said that they wanted to be on it, they wanted to be part of that, they thought they could help. So that's good.
Okay.
Typically when we start a committee or a commission, we give them a charge. Have we done that?
I would have to go back, because we did establish this committee, so I'm sure we gave them a charge, but I don't have that. And we established this probably 2 or 3 months ago. We didn't do anything other than establish it.
In our packet for the next meeting, could you, or one of the ladies in your office, include that charge?
Sure.
As we start appointing members, just so
Yeah.
we know what we're asking them to commit to. I don't remember voting on this, but I'm foggy.
Okay.
Is there an age requirement to this?
I would
Yeah, a lot.
think so, but that we could have junior volunteers, they have
Yeah.
junior
I'm
firefighters.
just curious,
You gotta have a shovel
just in
and a
case
rake.
somebody might have an interest.
Probably need to ask her parents.
Just be alive, that's all.
And Bob, another thing, if you get this committee going and they're out there fixing up the town, trying to make it look pretty, my company will donate whatever mulch they need to fix things up
Thank you.
Yeah.
at no charge,
Fair enough.
okay?
Okay. Okay, next we'll approve tax refunds.
I move to approve tax refunds for a total amount of $275.70.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
No, I'm not on there.
You've been on there, I haven't been on here yet.
This is ridiculous, I should be on there.
Well, there's always hope, you know.
I was on it one time.
You were.
For what, $17?
That was only like 3 meetings ago. I'm still patiently waiting my turn.
Okay, and now we're down to our last agenda item, and this is what I added, and probably Jason knows more about it than I do, but our treasurer told me that when we approved well, something changed. We weren't aware that, I guess there were 2 members of the clerical union that had a 3-year vesting, and the others had 5-year vesting, so consequently, a separate 401 account had to be made up for that. And so we have to approve that. And so,
That's correct.
I move we authorize the first selectman to sign the administrative services agreement with, between ICMA Retirement Corporation and the Town of East Windsor for Type 401A account 100027 and 401 account 100037 and Type 457 account number 300245.
So I'll make that motion so that you're not granting yourself
All right,
authorization.
and is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. And so now, selectmen reports, and Jason, you're up.
All right. So this is the time of the, just start that over again. This time of the year is budget season, and it's one of the most important things that the Board of Selectmen does each year. In addition to setting out spending priorities for the coming year, the budget also should be treated as a policy document that outlines the direction that the board thinks is in the town's best interests. The budget that was approved by the Board of Selectmen and submitted to the Board of Finance, in my view, still leaves a lot of work to be done. The Board of Selectmen's recommended budget is a spending increase of 6.51%, which is historically far too high to meet the voters' expectations. It also makes some spending decisions that I think might be a bit short-sighted.
Wait a minute, what did you just say?
It's not right.
Is 6%?
It's not right.
Yeah, it was 6%.
The Board of Selectmen gave the Board of Finance a budget increase of 3.45%.
The budget in total was 6.51%.
Not anymore, no, the board,
It's not anymore, no, but it was when we voted on it. That was the number.
the reason it was higher than 3.45 was because of the school. And we had nothing to do with that. Board of Selectmen had nothing to do with that.
Right, I still think that what we ought to have done is have a conversation about what the number in total was, and a conversation a real conversation on the revenue side, which we haven't done. I've raised that as a concern for the last couple of years.
Well, I can see why you could say that, but saying 6%, that has nothing to do with the Board of Selectmen. That has to do with well, it has to do with the Board of Education, but revenue income, that's a valid concern.
I'm happy to change that.
We didn't approve that.
I'm happy to make that change.
The school system, they want $2 extra million over the previous year. Okay, that's what's jacking it up
Well,
like it is.
but they've cut that back. The
And
Board of
I haven't heard
Selectmen
what it's
did,
been
the Board of
cut back
Finance
to.
did, and that's their option.
So but we did not have a meaningful conversation on the revenue aspect.
That's true.
And that's something that I raised as a concern right along. Without considering the revenue picture, we're effectively just forwarding along a spending sheet to the Board of Finance. The budget, inclusive of the Board of Education and the Board of Selectmen's recommendation, would have equated to a 2.77 mil increase, which was a lot. Since the Board of Selectmen approved the budget, the Board of Finance has been hard at work. They reduced the budget proposal to an increase of 4.84% of the spending increase, which is a mill rate of 35.41 mils, still an increase of 1.51 mils, which and a tax increase of 4.17%. I appreciate the due diligence of the Board of Finance thus far, but I still think that is a steep ask of taxpayers, and I think that ultimately there's still work that's going to be done to have to balance out the varied aspects of our community. On April 17th, just last night, the Pension Board met for our quarterly meeting. Q4 of 2018 was rough pretty much across the board for anybody who had any type of investments in the market. But almost all of the losses that the town incurred in our pension investment plan from Q4 of 2018 were recovered in Q1 of 2019. Just in the last quarter, our plan investment earned 13.65% in the quarter. Year-to-date, the town's portfolio outpaced the benchmark by 19 basis points, which is a modest overperformance, but still ahead of where we would be if we just used the standard index fund, which I think further demonstrates the value of using professionally managed fund managers, which come at no cost to the taxpayers. With that, that's all I have.
Okay. And Charlie?
I just have a couple of things, but they're both related. I haven't seen the fire marshal's report in a couple of months, and the last report we got was not to the specifications as to what the content was going to be, which was agreed upon by the fire marshal a year ago. And so we need to get to that state to show, you know, what that report really should be like. And so that's one thing. The other thing I have, because it came up this week, is regarding, I don't know whether it is that the town is responsible to do fire inspections of the churches within the town. Seeing the Notre Dame Cathedral burned was devastating and personally upsetting to me.
Me too. I was really
Yeah.
affected by that.
Yeah, that was not good. And so I don't know how that works, whether, you know, the town is responsible, you know, to be doing fire inspections in churches. I mean, it's a place where, you know, a lot of people congregate, obviously, and there's a number of churches within the town. And I was thinking about, you know, the churches that are here. The two newest, I think, are the what was the Grace Episcopal Church down here, down the street, as well as St. Philip's. And I know St. Philip's is, I think, just about 60 years old. And, you know, you take this one that's here is probably 100. And, you know, I think if it is something that we should do, then we need to do it quickly. And so that, put that fear out of people's minds that, you know, I go by here in the evening and from the front, from the street over there, you see the light on in the choir loft, and I don't know how long that chain has been hanging there with that one light bulb, you know, and, you know, has that fire gotten frayed? I don't know. I would just like to think when you see something like that, and again, they didn't say it was electrical, but they didn't say it wasn't yet. So I think just in good conscience, we should do that. So if you could check with the fire marshal on that.
I will check with the fire marshal, and also as far as the reports go, I would take full responsibility for that. So come into my office, we'll look at the reports. If you want to change them, we'll change them. But
I just want to get what he agreed to back a year ago.
and I think I feel that he's giving me what we agreed to, but so
Okay.
there's a difference. Okay, Steve.
Yeah, I guess after the cathedral burnt there, it was on the news that I guess there was a copycat. They caught a guy that was gonna burn down a big church. Had cans of gas, had all kinds of stuff ready to go.
St. Patrick's in New York.
Yeah. But the other good thing is, Jimmy Strempel was gonna have his plow day on Saturday with the horses over here at the community garden, and that's all been canceled because of the weather. It's gonna be inclement, you know?
Okay.
So I don't know when they rescheduled that, or if they're even going to. He didn't tell me today, but
Okay.
that's usually a neat thing to go watch, you
Yeah.
know? I've actually walked behind a walk-behind plow at another venue that I went with Jimmy out on Route 6, I think out in Columbia somewhere. And they usually ride on a sulky for the one bottom plow. But this old man that they call Mr. Plow actually walks like they did behind it in the old days, you know? And I was actually privileged to be able to do that. The guy let me do it, and it was something to do, you know? It's really a cool thing to watch how people did things back in the day, you know?
Not easy work.
No, it wasn't easy work. I wouldn't want to be doing that for 9, 10 hours a day, you know? That's all I gotta say. Some good stuff.
Can I add one other thing?
Sure.
Just because I know I forgot to include it. Abby's walk is the whatever next Saturday is, 27th, at the East Windsor Reservoir. It's the best day of the year to have anything to do with East Windsor. Typically, somewhere between 600 and 700 people come out to support that organization, and it's a really great day.
Okay,
That's the reschedule for the plowing event too, so people can catch both of them.
Oh, and they're right across the street from each other. That's good.
great. Okay, thanks to Jason, I do have something to say. We worked very hard on the budget, the Board of Selectmen, and we gave the Board of Finance a budget that I think is very fair. And we went through department by department and really held the increases down. I think the townside budget is very good. We gave the townside budget, like I said, to the Board of Selectmen at a 3.45% increase, and that's fair. That's what the town needs. That's what they should vote on. The Board of Finance actually just increased it slightly. So most times, as long as I've been here, I've always seen the Board of Selectmen give the Board of Finance a budget that they felt was the town needed, and the Board of Finance cut that. Now, this time, the Board of Finance increased it, but not enough to be significant. So I'm not putting anything on the Board of Finance. I think we did a good job, and they confirmed that we did a good job because they didn't change very much. I think it's a very fair budget. I think the town needs that. And if you're saying the budget's high, then it certainly has nothing to do with the town or the Board of Selectmen. It has to do with the other fundings that's needed in the town.
I think my point holistically would be, I think starting the process a bit earlier with particular targets, and maybe this is something for the Board of Finance to assign to us and the Board of Education, but with recognition of what the goal for the budget is, I think that, kind of like starting on the figuring out how much money you have to spend before you decide what you're going to spend it on. And again, this gets back to that revenue conversation that I've asked for, to understand what the appetite of the Board of Finance is in terms of a spending or a tax increase, and then apportioning out the available funding between the different aspects of the town government and the Board of Education to figure out how you go about spending it. So I just think the system is kind of inverted. We put out what we need to spend, and then we determine if we will tax enough to cover that. I think certainly there's a demonstrated history in the community that at least attempting to invert that might yield greater support. That's my point.
Well, and my point was that when you said something, excuse me, then you sort of said, my point was, when you spoke, it sounded like you were actually saying that it was a bad budget and we shouldn't, that the taxpayers shouldn't support it. It's a good budget. That's not the impression I wanted to give at all.
What I was trying to relay is I think that at the end of the day, the numbers are just too high. It's not to say that there wasn't.
Well, and what you're doing then, by saying the numbers are too high, because it isn't the town's numbers, you're saying that the Board of Education is too high. That's what you're saying. You always seem to support the schools.
Yeah, but I believe there's an equilibrium and a balance in terms of what our spending. It's a policy document, right? I started with that. So it's an equilibrium between what we ought to be spending on and what the willingness of the community to support is. And I just don't think the Board of Finance has found it, but I think they're closer than what they were given. And I just think that there's kind of a re-examination of that, the way we go about doing that would be healthy.
Charlie, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I thought that same thing from my background. And I did ask the treasurer, what the expected revenue number would be while we were doing this stuff. It's just, I just don't know yet. I won't know for, some time. So, couldn't get anything for that.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much like last year, actually. There was actually a $500,000 increase because of the pilot money we got, so that was a good thing.
But she didn't have it. She said, I can't give a number at this point.
Yeah.
But a quick question. The school system wanted $2 million over the previous year. Where are they right now?
I should have brought the budget tonight, I didn't bring it.
Not
It was
sure.
finalized last night. Okay. So I guess we don't have an executive session tonight.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, God.
I'll be up, swing by, we'll have a couple pounds.
Maybe you guys
3
want
o'clock in the morning.
Charlie, wanna look
Feed
at
the
that?
baby.
3 week old, man.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you print out your one for the top of the
I just emailed